Here we are. What you're hearing now is an electronic version of Johann Sebastian Bach's Brandenburg Concerto No. 3. You can find it on YouTube. I'm going to turn that off and be right back. Okay, welcome everyone. It is May the 26th, is that right? 27th, I guess. So here we are for our next session. We'll be doing reviewing some things as always and looking at some new possibilities or revisiting possibilities we haven't looked at for a long time. I mentioned last week this movie Cyrano and the play Cyrano, and I have a further episode I'd like to talk to you about at the end. So in the meanwhile, let's stretch and reach up, and if you're extremely tall, you can grab the ceiling. So those of you that are 8 or 9 feet tall should do that. If you're 10 or 12 feet tall, you can push the ceiling and maybe see what happens. Okay, and shoulders back, and as always, around. Crossing and holding and stretching. Good, and as I said before, the old school waist exercises. Used to do this all the time back in the 60s, which looks like ancient history, I'm sure, to you. And squat jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's pick up our feet and march. Move in a circle. Really bring your knees up high. And then we did our arm swings, but let's do them again this way and then alternating, or rather going in opposite directions. I believe, if I remember, everyone in our class can do that, at least the class I taught on Wednesday. So it's good coordination exercise, good for your brain. Let's do 5 more squat jumps. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we'll do the stork stretch. You're pulling your legs straight back, not to the side, but straight up, I should say. Lifting your ankle with your hand. And losing your balance. Feeling that stretch in your quadricep. And in the other side. Helps if you thrust your hips forward somewhat, that also stretches the muscle. Good. Let's do a little lifting our leg for footwork. So start this way, nice and slow. And moving forward like an advance in some sort of strange universe. And a little faster. Moving back, and moving forward. And back, and forward, now slow. And lunge. Just stretch that out, push down on your rear hip. Still not warmed up, presumably, so just take it easy. Pivot and reverse. A little lower each time. And back. A little bit lower. You can lean if you want to stretch, but also you should also come back to this upright position so you don't train your body to lean. And pivot and reverse, a little lower. And back in the runner stance, front shoulder next to front knee. And reverse. And legs more than the shoulders width apart, and hang down, feel the backs of your thighs, your hamstrings stretching. I'm just going to check the video, make sure it's working. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Okay, let's just do some sort of mid-range lunges and kind of warm that up. So extending your arm and finishing as you lunge and back, keeping your form upright. Classically, you keep your hands shoulder level. Of course, if you're going to a different area, you would change that, but for warm up, we'll do it this way. What want to talk for a second about your rear arm, I should say. If you watch modern fencers, they tend to let it sort of hang here every which way, figuring it doesn't matter. And in some ways at that level it may not matter, but I believe you don't want any dead weight on your form. So if you're fencing like this, you've got this strange dead thing, which has two aspects. One is it's physical and has a certain amount of momentum swing. The other is it's psychological. You just don't want dead weight, just as you don't want a dead branch on a tree. You remove it. So you keep your hand here for now. When we're doing this, you can do it very classically. That's how I was trained, of course, and then over the years, like everyone else in the world, I sort of let my arm move, but I always kept it moving, never hanging. So be aware of that. Let's go to non-dominant and do some footwork back and forth on your own. And lunge, both arms out, recover, moving back and forth, lunging and recovering. Fingers are loose, wiggle your fingers, shrug your shoulders, make sure everything is loose. And your legs in this squatting position or in this crouched position should of course be full of potential energy that you're going to unleash when you lunge, but they shouldn't be tight. They should simply be ready to spring. Just as I've said 1,000 times, when you watch tigers or lions stalk prey, they're very low, they're very smooth. Moving back and forth with your non-dominant side. Nice and low. Remember, you're in a room with let's say a 5-foot ceiling or 4.5 feet. So you're nice and low. And relax. Take your foil. I want to remind you, as always, of the fundamental concept of extending and then finishing with the lunge. Not extend lunge anymore. When you're beginning, you can learn that. But now we need to make it more sophisticated. So it's extending, the leg goes up, and you finish by pushing on your rear leg and you accelerate as you go. Just watching me. Extending toe up. I remind you too, it's as if you've sewn your toes together and you're yanking your foot up. Or it's like slipping on some oil. You don't want this, you don't want this, as I said every week. It's reaching. It's almost like you have a second weapon in your foot. So we're going to do this for 30 seconds and 15 seconds rest. Just lunges for the moment. Giving guard, face your target. And begin. Lunge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Readjust. Maybe a little bit further away, lengthen your lunge somewhat now that you're a little warmed up. Really reaching. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And rest. As a professional educator, I will tell you, one of the ways our brain works is we make analogies. We say, this thing is like that thing. And it occurred to me when I was talking about lifting your toes that I have a kind of funny analogy from an old James Bond movie, which I'll tell you in a moment. Back on guard, accelerating your lunge, extending and go. 1, 2, back on guard. 3, keep your form, keep yourself low when you recover. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And relax. In this movie, it's called From Russia with Love. It's from the mid-60s, perhaps, old James Bond movie. There's a short, nasty Russian woman who's a spy, and in the toe of her shoe, she has a hidden switchblade. So when she opens it, it kicks out, and it's about that long on her toe, and she tries to kick James Bond with it and poison him or whatever. And I've always thought that's sort of an interesting analogy or way of thinking about it, because you're trying to score this way, but you kind of are trying to score with your foot as well. Think of it as a secondary partner, if that helps you. Back on guard, face your target, and begin accelerating. 1, recover low. 2, recover low. 3, recover low. 4, recover, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Relax a moment. I want you to switch to your non-dominant side. Again, even if you have a handle like this, it's really more of a brain exercise than anything. So find a way to hold it. Get on guard and face your opponent. Remember, when you're recovering either side, you're always bending this rear leg and recovering low. You never recover by standing up. It really puts you at a disadvantage. Ready? Go. Extending, accelerate. That's 1. Extending, accelerate. 2. Extending, accelerate. 3. Extending, accelerate. 4, and so forth. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Back to your dominant side. Again, from this side, when you recover, this leg bends, almost collapses, although it has to be strong. So you're back here, ready for the next move, always. Never this, always this. Face your target. Ready, 1, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And rest. In the next set, I'm going to time you for 30 seconds. I want you to do as many lunges as you can properly. So not a matter of this, but a matter of properly executed lunges, just no stopping between. So it should look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's about a lunge every second, I would say. So maybe you can get 20 to 25 lunges in this 30-second period. Ready? Face your target and go. I'm not lunging, I'm watching you. Every lunge correctly executed, don't hurry, but do be persistent and continuous. Ten seconds. Five. And rest. If you did 20 lunges, give yourself a pat on the back. If you did 25 lunges, give yourself 2 pats on the back. If you did more than 25, hug yourself and spin around because you did such a good job. One more time, facing your target. And we'll begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. Full, quick, consistent, continual lunges. Keep lunging. Speed isn't everything though. Make sure you're lunging properly and recovering properly, adjusting with a small retreat if need be. And we're 15 seconds in right now. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And relax. Shake out your legs. Stretch your hamstring. You can do the quadricep stretch where you lie down, or not lie down, you put your rear end on your heels and you touch your knees to the ground and look back. Lift your hips so you feel a stretch in your quadriceps. Next, our good friend, advanced lunge. Remember, this kind of advanced lunge is a slow fast. It's an accelerating movement. So, in slow motion, it looks like this. Slow extending arm, and then a faster extension and lunge when I finish. In regular time, it looks like this, of course. Recover and retreat. Extending, hit, recover and retreat. Extending, hit, recover and retreat. Extending, hit, recover and retreat. Face your target. You're going to accelerate slow, fast. As I've said now 1,000 times, the first step is reconnaissance. That is, you're getting a feel for where your opponent is in terms of distance, but also what your opponent is likely to do for a parry. And from then on, you can theoretically deceive your opponent. But it's the acceleration that makes the difference. Even this small step has it sends a certain signal to your opponent. It says, this is the pace I'm moving at. And when you change it, like those wild animals I keep referring to, you surprise your opponent and you hit. So it's accelerating. 30 seconds of this. Ready? Face your target. Go. Advance lunge. Recover, repose. Sorry, retreat. Go. Advance lunge. Recover, retreat. Go. Advance lunge. Recover, retreat. Go. Advance lunge. Recover and retreat. Go. Advance lunge. Recover, retreat. Maybe a little further away now. Go. Advance lunge. Recover and retreat. Go. Advance lunge. Recover and retreat. 5 seconds. Go. Advance lunge. Recover. One more. Go. And rest. I'm going to stop this tape. I'll be back in a second.